It's Friday, January 17. This is the news on PBCJ. I am Simone Absalom. The National Water Commission, the NWC, is advising customers that there will be a 24 to 36-hour delay in the restoration of full service in areas surrounding Washington Boulevard. They say challenges have impacted repair work on a water pipe and have revised the completion time to 7 a.m. on Saturday, January 18. Affected areas include sections of Duane Park, New Haven, Patrick City, sections of Corville Gardens, Washington Gardens, sections of Malines Road, and roads leading off. The company said that a leak resulted in significant dislocation of the pipeline, which will require civil works to secure the mains. As the government ramps up its fight against dengue and other mosquito-borne diseases, Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton is calling on Jamaicans to desist from attacking vector control workers who carry out fogging exercises.
So we appeal to the public again. Stoning the vector workers doesn't help your cause, doesn't help the community, and indeed it's illegal, and persons can be prosecuted for that.
Dr. Tufton says vector control workers are normally clearly identified.
These workers have or should have identification. They should be uniformed, and therefore there should be no doubt as to why they are there. We can understand questions being asked if there is doubt, but they are supposed to be sufficiently attired with ID to not having a reason for those questions.
Fogging crews are crucial to the ministry's drive to curb the infestation of mosquitoes, particularly the Aedes aegypti species, which is the vector responsible for the outbreak of the dengue fever. Dr. Tufton assured the public of the safety of the chemicals used for fogging.
The chemicals through the fogging, or what is applied in the containers that is used, are certified and approved for such use and are safe to operate or to be applied around an environment where we have residents, citizens dwelling. We do advise where persons have particular respiratory ailments for them to avoid the area where fogging is taking place for a period immediately after the fogging.
He noted that $234 million has been spent to acquire the 35 new vehicles as well as vehicle-mounted fogging machines, adding that these will be deployed shortly. Up to January 13, 2020, some 9,356 suspected, presumed, or confirmed dengue cases were recorded across the health sector for 2018 to 2019. Dr. Tufton was speaking at a post-cabinet press briefing at Jamaica House on January 15. On Monday, Port Royal will receive a cruise ship from the Marella Cruise Line. This will take place while the historic town is currently undergoing an advanced redevelopment phase. There have been questions as to why the town is receiving a cruise ship before the scope of the work is done. But President and Chief Executive Officer of the Port Authority of Jamaica, Professor Gordon Shirley, says the town is ready to receive.
One of the cruise lines, Marella, had been going to Cuba, and for a variety of reasons which I won't discuss here, came to us and said, you told us about this Port Royal thing. Could you accommodate us in January 2020? This was in the back end of 2017. We explained to them where we were in the process of development. We indicated that we would make every effort to try to accelerate it to accommodate the ships in January. You could say this is opportunistic marketing. If we didn't tell them that we were doing it, then they wouldn't have known. But they came, and it was the only line that didn't say, when you finish it, we will give you the bookings that you want. This was
Addressing the Public Administration and Appropriations Committee on Wednesday, Mr. Shirley explained the PAJ's role in the town's redevelopment, which included the building of a sea walk or floating pier.
The Port Authority's role has been to serve as a catalyst for the overall development by constructing a berth in Port Royal. And in that process, we've also become engaged in the upgrades to Fort Charles and some other developments in the town. What is at the Old Cold Wharf today, the Seawalk, which we had acquired in 2018, is now stationed out there. It is fully functional. It could operate today if a ship came. We have also had to build the landside facilities for the terminal, which include a terminal building, which include ground transport staging areas, which include all the necessary bathroom facilities, the area for holding the ground transport operators. These are all at an advanced stage of completion.
There are 4 cruise calls slated for Port Royal for this year, which should bring approximately 10,000 passengers. Mr. Shirley said bookings for 2021 will be significantly more, as a number of other lines are expected to come on stream. The ecological historical environment in Port Royal, which includes a sunken city, buried artifacts and archaeological assets, is highly sensitive and protected. Last Saturday, Prime Minister Andrew Holness was on site at Port Royal to see the progress that is being made towards creating the historic town as the newest cruise destination in Jamaica. Port Royal is one of the most fascinating locations in the entire Caribbean, with well over 500 years of incredible history. Mr. Holness says the value of Port Royal must be preserved for generations to come.
So we are doing a comprehensive plan to consider, first of all, the environmental and climatic risks, because Port Royal is a low-lying area and it is susceptible to climate risks. There's no question about it. So we have to develop Port Royal and put in the infrastructure to protect against that risk. So it's not about just pulling down the houses and relocating. It is about putting in the infrastructure, the flood walls, the revetments, all of those things. And then we say, all right, here is the safest place for people to live.
The strong, persistent northeasterly wind currently being experienced in Falmouth resulted in the diversion of 3 cruise ships from the historic port. The 3 vessels would have transported 7,000 passengers to the island's shores. According to Noel Hilton, the Port Authority of Jamaica's port manager for Falmouth, the port averages about 5 diversions annually due to climatic conditions. He was, however, unable to detail the extent of the impact of the diversion of the 3 vessels that it had on the local economy. He was quick to point out that at the end of the day, there is little or no decline in the number of cruise arrivals, as the port has also unexpectedly welcomed cruise passengers from vessels that were diverted from other ports, also as a result of inclement weather. The Falmouth port welcomed just over 560,000 cruise passengers last year. The Bank of Jamaica says the most recent depreciation of the dollar is due to increased demand as supply has remained normal, but the bank expects the FX market to soon return to more normal patterns. In a news release on Thursday, the Bank of Jamaica noted the recent movement in the exchange rate and the renewed expressions of concern by some participants about the pace of movement and the availability of foreign currency supply. Since the start of the year, the exchange rate has depreciated by 3.2%, reversing the appreciation of 2.5% that occurred in December 2019. The increase in demand has been related in part to restocking activities by retailers. The bank said financial institutions also bought on behalf of their customers to fund real sector investments and plan portfolio-related transactions. The bank said that the traders have also been buying on their own account since the start of the year to restore their foreign currency positions, having sold more foreign currency to the market than they bought in December 2019. The US dollar is being traded at 137 Jamaican dollars 67 cents, up by 38 cents. The Bank of Jamaica's daily exchange trading summary says the Canadian dollar is being traded at $106.68, up from $103.06, while the British pound sterling is being traded at $180.74, up from $178.89. The government of Jamaica has lost just over 202,000 US dollars, or 27 million Jamaican dollars, in grant funding from the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, better known as the World Bank. This is owing to the slow implementation of project activities under the Jamaica Social and Economic Inclusion of Persons with Disabilities, which is a project under the Program of Advancement through Health and Education, PATH, that is solely funded by the World Bank. Despite receiving a one-year extension to August 14, 2018, it was noted that after 5 years of implementation, the project was only able to expend 2.7 million US dollars, or 93% of the $2.9 million grant funding. As such, the government of Jamaica lost the remainder in grants. In her annual report to Parliament, Auditor General Pamela Monroe Ellis said that an examination of the project by her department revealed that the underutilization of the grant funding was due mainly to the training consultant's delay in submitting final report, as well as invoices within the disbursement period. The objective of the project is to assist the government of Jamaica to increase the employability and skills development for poor persons with disabilities and improve the service delivery of special education needs to poor children with disabilities. U.S. Secretary of State Michael R. Pompeo will be in Jamaica next week on a two-day working visit, January 21 to January 22. During the visit, the Secretary of State and his delegation will be met by his counterpart, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith. Secretary Pompeo is also expected to give a policy speech on the Caribbean region's critical importance to the United States and the country's renewed commitment to closer ties based on shared values, interests, and economic prosperity.
We welcome the visit of Secretary Pompeo as a demonstration of the commitment of the United States of America to once more strengthen its engagement with Jamaica and the wider Caribbean. We're very much looking forward to this opportunity to build and indeed reinforce our already close ties.
Governor General Sir Patrick Allen says the National Leadership Prayer Breakfast has not lost its significance. The staple event saw support from all sections of Jamaican society in its 40th staging on Thursday at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel in Kingston. In his greetings, His Excellency reflected on the violent 1980 general election.
40 years ago, Jamaica experienced turbulent times in its modern history. For many persons, peace was elusive, and the more than 1,000 lives that were lost bore stark testimony to those frightening events. It was out of the ashes of political violence that the National Prayer Breakfast was born. The cynical among us will say that the annual National Prayer Breakfast has since lost its purpose and significance. However, I beg to differ. Without events such as the annual prayer breakfast, the prayer vigil, the Heal the Nation, Heal the Family Day of Prayer, and the sincere intercessions of persons of faith across the island, I think the situation would be much worse.
As a proud patron of the annual breakfast, he explained that the various sectors of society that benefited from the funds raised convinced him of its continued relevance.
These funds, Prime Minister, Leader of the Opposition, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, have helped in medical care, construction of infrastructure for the homeless, assistance to children in state care, education, flood relief, and skills training programs. It is activities like these that convince me of the continuing relevance of the annual Leadership Prayer Breakfast, of which I'm proud to be the patron.
The Child Resiliency Program is the 2020 benefactor of the breakfast. It targets children ages 9 to 11 years who display high-risk behaviors such as reading below grade level, delinquency, excessive fighting, or who have suffered sexual, emotional, or physical abuse and neglect. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Pernell Charles, says the Auditor General's report concerning the Caribbean Maritime University will be tabled at the next sitting of Parliament. In a release on Thursday, Mr. Charles said, quote, "Any exchange on the matter should not be construed as reluctance to table the report," end quote. The report examined the financial and administrative practices at CMU, which resulted in the arrest of 5 people, including former Minister of Education Will Reid and the president of the university. This week on Culinary Trails, we visit a restaurant in New Kingston. It's a bright, sunny and wonderful day, as it always is on the island of Jamaica, so I decided to have an early lunch, and I also looked up and found a wonderful restaurant. It's at the Altamont Court Hotel in New Kingston. I'm here at Mango Tree Restaurant, and of course, you know me, if I'm at a new restaurant, I want to find out all about it, so I'm going to have a little chat with the food and beverage manager. Thanks so very much for agreeing to speak with us. If someone were to decide to visit the restaurant, what can they expect from their experience?
The first thing everybody says is that the customer service is great, above and beyond. We have the most warm staff. They're very polite, they're very trained. So when you come here, that is the first experience that you get. Apart from that, when we go on to our dishes, we're known for predominantly Jamaican cuisine. Or oxtail is a hit. Along with that, we have some bestsellers that we had for Restaurant Week actually, which is our escovitch chicken breast, coffee crusted ribs. Tourists always come for that, mainly the Jamaican setting. So the ackee and saltfish or callaloo, you know, like our mackerel rundown, those are the things that they come for. In-house guests, you have the choice between a continental breakfast and a Jamaican breakfast. So continental breakfast is basically eggs your way, meaning you can have eggs any way you like it. You can have scrambled eggs, you can have eggs over easy, you can have an omelette, any way you like it. That's served with either pancakes, bagels, or toast bread. You get bacon and sausages with that, and then you have the option of the Jamaican breakfast. The Jamaican breakfast is not really standard because we try to change it up every day. The one thing that is standard is our ackee and saltfish. So we have ackee and saltfish every day, but then we try to change up the menu. So it will range from broad beans and saltfish to liver to, you know, we just try to mix it up all the time.
Tell me a little bit about the dinner menu.
Okay, so we have the regular curry mutton, we have oxtail, we have shrimp your way, which again is shrimp any way you want it. We are changing our menu currently because we want to make it a little bit more exciting, keeping the things that we know that our guests love, but enhancing it. So we're trying to infuse different cuisines. So now we have pastas, which are Italian, right? So we're trying to come in with things like tacos and burritos and, you know, enchiladas and mix it up a little bit. We're trying to introduce some sushi to the menu. So we're trying to be very diverse, but we're taking our time in getting that menu together.
Do you have anything new coming up this year? Any special services that you'd like to talk about?
So this year, I will be introducing theme nights. So just to give you like a little preview, like we want to have a wine and roll night, which would be wine specials and sushi rolls. So we're introducing the theme nights. We want to attract a different crowd also. So we want to be more open to, you know, the campus students, the college students. We want to be a place where anybody can come. We want to be a place that if you want to have dinner with your dad, you can come here. We want to be a place that if you want to have dinner with your husband, you can come here. We want to be a place that if you just want to chill out with some friends, you can use our pool, you can have some nice food, and it's very comfortable.
Right, so apart from services in terms of lunch and breakfast and dinner, do you offer any additional service to the public?
So we have just launched our catering services, which is the off-site catering. So if, for example, you don't want to have it at the hotel, you want to have it at your home, you don't know where to get the food, we're here. So we will come, we will provide you with everything from your utensils to your servers to your food. We have 2 meeting rooms and 3 banquet rooms, basically.
Hello, Simone.
Hi.
I want to welcome you here to the Altamont Court at the Mango Tree Restaurant. My name is Chef Kereth Roach. Here today we have for you baby back ribs marinated in fresh herbs and spices, served with a barbecue sauce, served with our seasoned potato croquettes. I'm sure that you will enjoy your meal, and I look forward to seeing you again. And thank you for coming.
Thank you very much for this nice service.
Yes, sure. Pleasure was mine.
So lunch at the Mango Tree Restaurant at Altamont Court in New Kingston was a great success. It was so yummy. The customer service was on point. They were very friendly. And of course, we got lots and lots of information about the services that they offer. So until next time, I'm Simone Absalom. Stay tuned for more on PBCJ. In regional news, we focus on Barbados. Former government minister Donville Innes was found guilty of 3 criminal counts when he appeared in a federal district court in New York on Thursday. The unanimous verdict was handed down by a 12-member jury after just under 2 hours of deliberation. Innes is guilty of 2 counts of money laundering and 1 count of conspiracy to commit money laundering. The court found that the former legislator took bribes from insurance giant ICBL in 2015 and 2016 while he was Minister of Industry, International Business, Commerce and Small Business Development. ICBL then paid him $36,000 to use his authority to ensure that the firm's $1 million contract with the state-owned Barbados Industrial Development Corporation was renewed. The court was told that he then conspired to hide the payment by having the money sent to a New York dental company, then deposited it into his bank account through a series of transfers. He is to remain on bail pending sentencing next month. In sports, we put on our running shoes as plans are being made to unveil a statue of Jamaican Olympian Asafa Powell at the National Stadium in February. Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport, Olivia Grange, recently received the permission from Powell for the statue, which will join those of the other Olympians erected at the Independence Park. According to the minister, the sprinter and his wife, Alicia, signed off on the marquee during a recent call on Minister Grange. The ministry said that the Powells remarked that the sculptor got the details just right. Having received all clear, Grange said she will now move on to unveiling the statue on Saturday, February 9 at 4 p.m. The statues of Usain Bolt, Shelley and Fraser Price and Veronica Campbell Brown have been completed and installed. And that's the news on PBCJ. I'm Simone Absalom. Pleasant viewing.